Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Corey with The War Within. Today is training day 37, and holy crap, the clock is ticking down. I can't believe it. It seems like I just started this, and I feel at this point that I feel like I have a lot more time, but I really don't. The day is approaching. I will say this though, I do feel ready. I feel ready now. I feel like, whereas before, actually, I felt like this was going to be very arduous. I felt like the race was going to be very daunting. I felt like it was going to hurt a lot. And that's not to say that I don't think it won't. I think the run's going to be absolutely terrible. But I feel ready. I'm pretty excited. I feel like it's just going to be another day of training, kind of like the mindset that I've taken into a lot of my other competitions in my past life. Anyway, let me give you guys a quick update on training. So, just to backtrack just a bit, about a week and a half ago on a Sunday, I went to a triathlon training clinic, and that's where they told me not to wear socks when I ran. So last Wednesday, I decided to go for a nice 5-6 mile run. 5 miles in, it just became crazy, unbearable because I wasn't wearing socks and I tore the shit out of my feet. So much so that I only ran one day last week. So that was that. But I did bike quite a bit. I actually hit 20 miles in the beginning of the week, and then I decided to push it on Thursday to a 35, which was my highest mileage to date, until Saturday, where I decided to go for a 40 miler with a group. So it was two new kind of instances where I was with a group. I've never really ridden with a group, didn't know what to expect, so I was a little, kind of jazzed, I guess the nerves could be pumping there. And then also at the same time, riding with the group kind of took me a little bit out of my pacing, my normal pacing, because sometimes you get a little competitive, sometimes you don't. Sometimes I was sitting there actually like talking to people, which I'm not accustomed to. I was actually just accustomed to being on my own and being in my own head. So either way, Saturday, very, very tough for me. The way back, we got hit by a super strong wind. It reduced my miles per hour from 22 down to 14. And holy crap, I was just like, I was beat. I was beat mentally. I was beat physically. I think halfway into it, I probably had another 10 miles left. And I was just like, man, I wish I could call Uber right now and be like, hey, pick me up, because I legitimately wanted to stop. Luckily, I made it. I didn't stop. But I was very, very upset. It was just something I did not enjoy, but I had to get through. And if there's anything that really truly signifies the war within, it was that day. And that's one thing that I kind of kept telling myself was this, like, hey man, like, you wanted to go on the journey and here you are. Like, you can't just call up and quit midway through, you have to get through this. This is part of the process. So it's something I kept telling myself all the way through. Anyway, so that leads up to yesterday and today. I didn't train on Sunday. I had a wedding to go to. My best friend got married, so that was really cool. Had a great time. Yesterday, I pushed the distance. I woke up. I said, let's do this. My feet felt good. I wrapped them up with some moleskin and some other stuff. And I ran 5.5 miles. So I was super happy about that. Still maintained about a 10 mile, 10 mile per hour. Yeah, I think that's how to say it. 10 mile per hour pace. No, actually, no, that's not true. It was a 10-minute mile pace. Sorry about that. I got dogs running around me right now. I'm all over the place. So yeah, I hit the 5.5 miles. I did that in about 52 minutes, I believe. So that was pretty good. I felt happy about that. And then that wrapped into my training last night at the Master Swim. I could feel myself getting faster. Hit 2,700 meters. Felt good, feeling good. The water's feeling good. I'm happy. My form's getting there, and my comfortability within the water is there as well. Today was a little bit of a crapshoot, to be honest with you. I have a ton of stuff going on with school, so I had to prioritize. To be honest with you, I'm probably going to do a little high intensity interval training. I'll probably get in the garage and just swing the kettlebell around and do some squats and stuff like that. It might sound counterproductive or counterintuitive, but I could feel how tight my hips are and stuff like that today. And normally I'll go for a bike ride, but I don't have the ability to do that today. Weather's crappy, and that's just how it's going to be. So I'm going to hit that high intensity training here in a minute. Luckily, I got some schoolwork done. Anyway, let's get to the gem here, like I always talk about here. So what I want to talk about today is image and authenticity. So before I fell apart, I was the cool kid. I owned my own CrossFit gym. I was, big shot, all this other stuff, young, in shape dude. Some would say good looking. But yeah, I worried a lot about my image and the way that the way that I affected other people. And in going through what I've gone through and in falling apart, I talk about how it's actually very freeing. And what's great is the fact that I in losing it all, I lost a lot of friends that were scared because they didn't want to fall apart. It's one of those things where the fear of falling apart makes people run away because they're actually scared of possibly going through the same instances, right? Or being associated with somebody like that. But man, I'll tell you what. So now I'm 32 years old, and I've gone through a lot of healing processes where I've, had to really reduce my ego and got to see a lot of the error of my ways in the past. And now it's to the point where I feel so free of it that I don't really care so much anymore. So much so that I can actually get on YouTube and start talking about feelings and emotions and all this other crazy crap and healing. But this isn't about me. What this is really about is everybody else, and it's something that I'm trying to get across to other people is, man, I wasted so much time trying to be cool. And the only thing that cool got me was the path that led me to falling apart. Does that make sense? What it was is I wasn't living authentically. I wasn't being my authentic self. I wasn't checking my decisions based off of how I felt about things, but instead was doing things based off of how other people would react to me. So it's just one thing I want to bring up today. I hope to delve into that a little bit more. I talked a little bit too much about training today. I had to catch you guys up. But the reason why I bring up the cool thing too is because I just watched the video I posted up today on PTSD and veterans and how it's kind of stigmatized and how people don't want to admit to it. And I feel like that's something that holds people back as well along the process. I feel that's something that holds people up as well with the war within. So people start making decisions that aren't authentic to who they are, who their soul is, but they end up making decisions based off of what other people are going to think about them. And it really holds them back from being free, from being happy, from experiencing joy. They feel limited and they decide that they have to do something because of the impressions of other people. And I think that's where a lot of our world is today. I think people end up getting into relationships because they belong to a group and the group will think it's cool. People end up staying together or whatever for however long or having children. And maybe that wasn't the right person for them, and they end up learning the hard way. So that's where I'm at today is let's start focusing on what is more authentic to ourselves and looking at if it's really truly in our best interest based off of how we truly feel rather than doing it based off of if people that we may not even know are going to judge it by being cool or not. So that's that. That's my message today. Hope you guys enjoy it. Take care.